In November 1918, Germany stood broken. After 4 years of brutal fighting, its armies were exhausted, its people starving, and its emperor, Kaiser Wilhelm II, forced to abdicate. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns finally fell silent. Yet, even in defeat, a dangerous lie began to spread. German military leaders claimed the army had never truly been beaten. Instead, they argued, it had been stabbed in the back by weak politicians, socialists, and traitors at home. This myth would poison German politics for years to come. In 1919, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson arrived in Europe, promising a new world order, one built on peace, democracy, and cooperation. The League of Nations was created to prevent future wars through diplomacy rather than violence. But the peace that followed carried the seeds of another catastrophe: a broken peace. The Treaty of Versailles redrew the map of Europe. New nations like Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia were created from the ruins of old empires. Millions celebrated independence, but millions of ethnic Germans suddenly found themselves living outside Germany's borders. Germany itself was humiliated. Large territories were taken away. Its army was reduced to a shadow of its former self. Tanks, aircraft, and submarines were banned. Worst of all, Germany was forced to pay massive war reparations, money it simply did not have. Then came the final blow. The United States, despite Wilson's vision, refused to join the League of Nations. America turned inward, embracing isolationism. The organization meant to protect peace was left weak and toothless. Chaos in Germany. Germany became a democracy, the Weimar Republic, but it was born into disaster. Political violence filled the streets. Communists and ultranationalists fought openly. In 1923, hyperinflation destroyed the economy. Savings became worthless overnight. People carried wheelbarrows of cash just to buy bread. Out of this chaos emerged a new kind of politician, angry, charismatic, and ruthless. One of them was Adolf Hitler. The rise of Hitler. Hitler was an Austrian-born World War I veteran who had earned the Iron Cross for bravery. After the war, he drifted into extremist politics in Munich, eventually taking control of a tiny nationalist party, the National Socialists, or Nazis. In 1923, he attempted a violent overthrow of the government. The coup failed, and Hitler was imprisoned. But prison gave him time to write Mein Kampf, a manifesto blaming Jews for Germany's problems and calling for territorial expansion to the east. When he was released, Hitler changed tactics. He would no longer fight democracy, he would use it. For several years, Germany stabilized, extremism faded, but in 1929, everything collapsed. The Great Depression changes everything. The Wall Street crash triggered a global economic disaster. In Germany, unemployment soared past 6 million. Desperation returned. The Nazis promised jobs, strength, and national revival. By 1932, they were the largest party in parliament. Political deadlock followed, and in January 1933, Germany's president appointed Hitler chancellor, believing he could be controlled. He was wrong. Within weeks, Hitler used a suspicious fire in the parliament building to declare emergency powers. Political opponents were arrested. Parties were banned. When the president died in 1934, Hitler merged the offices of president and chancellor and declared himself Führer, absolute ruler of Germany. Rearming the Reich. Publicly, Hitler spoke of peace. Privately, he prepared for war. Germany poured money into massive public works, including highways that doubled as military infrastructure. Unemployment fell. Support for the regime skyrocketed. At the same time, Germany secretly rebuilt its armed forces. In 1935, Hitler openly defied the Treaty of Versailles, unveiling a powerful new air force, the Luftwaffe, and reintroducing conscription. Britain and France protested, but did nothing. When German troops marched into the demilitarized Rhineland in 1936, once again, no one stopped them. Each success convinced Hitler that the democracies lacked the will to fight. Aggression beyond Germany. But Germany was not alone. In Asia, Japan faced its own crisis. With a growing population and few natural resources, its military leaders believed expansion was the only solution. In 1931, Japanese forces seized Manchuria without approval from their own government. The League of Nations condemned Japan. Japan simply walked out. In China, Japanese forces launched a brutal invasion marked by atrocities, including the massacre at Nanjing, where hundreds of thousands of civilians were murdered. Western powers protested but refused to intervene. The message was clear: aggression paid. Mussolini's empire dreams. In Europe, Italy's fascist dictator Benito Mussolini pursued his own ambitious dreams. In 1935, Italian forces invaded Ethiopia, using modern weapons, including chemical gas, against poorly equipped defenders. Once again, the League of Nations failed. Sanctions were weak. Britain and France feared war more than injustice. The international system designed to preserve peace had collapsed. Spain, the dress rehearsal. In 1936, Spain descended into civil war. Fascist forces under General Francisco Franco rebelled against the elected government. Germany and Italy flooded Franco with troops, tanks, and aircraft. Spain became a testing ground for modern warfare. Cities were bombed, civilians were targeted. Britain and France declared neutrality. Hitler learned a critical lesson. No matter how brutal his actions, the democracies would hesitate. The road to war. By 1938, Hitler was ready to act. German troops marched into Austria, absorbing it into the Reich without a single shot fired. Next came Czechoslovakia. Using ethnic German minorities as an excuse, Hitler demanded territory. At Munich, Britain and France agreed to his demands in exchange for a promise of peace. That promise lasted less than a year. In March 1939, Hitler seized the rest of Czechoslovakia, non-German territory. The illusion was finally shattered. When Hitler turned his sights on Poland, Britain and France vowed to resist. But Hitler had one final move. On August 31, 1939, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union shocked the world by signing a non-aggression pact, secretly agreeing to divide Eastern Europe between them. The path was clear. The final step. On the night of August 31, 1939, German forces prepared for invasion. At dawn, they struck. World War II had begun, not because of one man, one nation, or one event, but because the world had failed again and again to stop aggression before it was too late.
If you found this story powerful, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and become part of this growing history family, because you're not just watching history here, you're part of it.